Hey, so today I'm going to talk about PC culture and leftist language. Now, leftist language, as I've spoken about before in my Moralizing Left video, take a look at the description box below, I believe it's one of the main stumbling blocks that we have on the left from getting people actually on our side. It certainly was one of the main reasons why I had a hard time with leftists way back many years ago when I was actually a right-winger myself. And it's one of the main things I think that we have to focus on fixing if we're ever going to gain more numbers. So that's kind of what this whole video is about. Now, this is on my mind right now because this morning I was presented with a comment that kind of got my mind working about all of this, and it was from a friend that certainly meant well, and they left me a message that went something along the lines of, "Hey, do you mind using a little bit less ableist language while you're making videos?" Now, I was taken back by this a little bit because I didn't know exactly what they were talking about. I don't use, or at least I didn't think I did, use ableist language in any of my videos. It's not part of my common parlance, as it were. I don't use the R slur, just like I don't use the F-bomb or the N-word while I'm just chilling out in my living room with my homies. That's not something that I usually or ever do. So when I was told that I was using ableist language, I was kind of taken back, and I was like, what exactly are you talking about? And they said that I was using the words dumbass, stupid, and crazy. Now, I'm not new to any of this. I'm not no spring chicken. I knew right away what they were talking about because I've heard this spoken about several times in the past in leftist circles. This whole idea that the word crazy or the word stupid or words like that, that those can actually be used as derogatory terms towards people with mental disabilities as well as the R slur. So instead of immediately getting mad about that, I thought about it for a second and thought to myself, okay, maybe I could look at some of the words that I'm using and try to maybe use them in a different way. But it also made me think that this is a good point of discussion. It's something that I think many people on the left should be talking about more, and it's something that I want to bring up as a point of discussion in the comment section of this video because I really want to know what, honestly, what everybody thinks about this. Because it's one of the main things, I think, that separates the dirtbag left from the SJW left. This whole idea that certain people should be able to say certain words at certain times, and I know that there might be varying degrees on where you stand in that whole debate. Obviously, the majority, or at least everybody, should probably agree that we probably shouldn't use the N-word, basically ever, because that's horrible. But in certain contexts, maybe it would be okay. For example, when you're talking about history, you don't want to be removing words from history books. That would definitely be bad. That would be history revisionism, and I'm definitely not for that. And when people of color use that sort of word with each other as sort of a way to recuperate that word for themselves, I don't see any real problem with that either. So obviously there is a lot of nuance, there is a lot of discussion that could be had about that sort of thing. And it made me think about an old George Carlin clip. Now, I don't necessarily believe that leftists are intentionally softening language and acting as though they are the PC police and they want to come in and use thought or mind control, thought police, there we go, that they're trying to come in and use thought policing to stop people from saying things that they want to say, from stopping regular people from using regular language in their regular lives. But I do know that that is something that a lot of people believe that leftists are trying to do. So I'm going to end this with a bit of a George Carlin quote because I think that it's actually important to the discussion, and it goes a little bit something like this. Originally, way back in World War II, when somebody suffered an injury to their mind while they were fighting in a battle, they called that injury shell shock. It's a powerful word. It has impact. 2 syllables, shell shock. You almost know exactly what it means before somebody even explains to you what it is. Then, through the course of time, that word became something known as battle fatigue. It kind of softens the language and makes it a little bit more easily palatable to people that might hear it, but you don't necessarily know what it means. Battle fatigue could be anything. It doesn't have the impact like shell shock did. And then eventually, over the course of time, battle fatigue became post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, so many syllables that it's kind of ridiculous, and it completely loses any human element that it once had, kind of taking it and making it a completely arbitrary, nonsensical term that you need to have somebody explain to you the definition of before you really even understand it. And even after George Carlin passed away, that term was further enhanced to just be an acronym, I believe I'm using that right, as PTSD. And that basically removed the feeling out of it entirely. So it's something to think about. Does our desire to have people use certain language that isn't disparaging to others a way of softening language and a way of making things worse for people? Does it seem as though it's authoritarian? Does it seem as though it's forcing people to basically, is it like thought police, is what I'm trying to say. Is it like thought police? Is it like trying to be an authoritarian officer that wants to stop you from saying certain things? I don't know how else to say that, but definitely leave your comments in the comment section down below, and hopefully if we're able to come to some sort of agreement, or at least if we're able to find some sort of good argument out of that, that works out to being about 5 or 10 minutes long, then I'll make it into a real video and not just some rambly mess like this is. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope to talk to you in the comment section, and have a great day.